I'm live. Good morning. It is Tuesday morning and it is the 2nd of May and I finished yesterday Sir Moses Was Born and I loved it and I was sorry it was over. It was Joan Grant's last far memory book, her 7th, and I also read her first far memory book, which was apparently famous at the time. And Joan Grant, this is her in 1937. This book was published in 1937, and it was stands in a class apart for its high sense of spiritual value, as well as for its glowing background. That was the times. She was a writer, as I said, of far memory, of her own far memory. The last book I read was from the view of Nebuchadnezzar, who was a brother of the Pharaoh. She, Joan that is, was born in England in 1907. Her father was a brilliant scientist, and she was 20 when she married Leslie Grant, with whom she had a daughter. Their marriage ended after Winged Pharaoh was published, and it became a bestseller. She was married to Charles Beatty until 1957, and she married psychiatrist Dennis Kelsey in 1960. Throughout her life, Joan had been preoccupied with the subject of ethics. To her, the word ethics represents the fundamental and timeless code of attitudes and behaviour towards one another on which the health of the individual and society depends. Now, this story explores the facet of this code. As Dennis Kelsey has written, the first dynasty of Egypt once knew the code well, but lost it and found it. 11 dynasties were to pass before it was recovered, but those were more leisurely times, when the most lethal weapon was an arrow, a javelin, and a club. We feel that in the present troubled days of this planet, these books must be presented. We're now a bit further down the line. It's 2023. And looking at this book, it has short chapters, which makes it great to read aloud. And even though I have read it well over a decade ago, and I remember it as being wonderful, I don't really remember too much about it. So, here goes. Chapter 1. Into Exile. This is actually playing in the ancient dynasty, ancient Egyptian times. This is the story of the time of the first dynasty. It is called Calm, and also the two lands, Summer. The land of the forerunners of the Babylonians is called Sumer. And Crete, the center of the Minoan civilization, is called Binoas, except for the city of Menatatis, which is Memphis, near Cairo. The locality of all sites is shown clearly enough for the purpose of this story. So, let us wander into this world, into exile. When the time came for me to return to earth, a messenger of the great overlords told me that I should be reborn in calm, and the two who would fashion my new body would welcome me, for we had been companions aforetime, and the ties between us were of love and not of hatred, which are the two threads that bind men most closely together upon earth. And for my brother I should have one with whom I had travelled long upon the great journey. When this was told to me, the sorrow, which all know when they must leave their true home and go to the place of mist, upon another day's journey, was lightened, for I should have companions in my exile. While my mother still sheltered me with her body, my father sought to find a gift that would tell her of the love that filled his heart. He could not tell her of his love in words, for words are but fleeting shadows of reality. Carvers in turquoise, nor workers, nor in gold or ivory could please him with their finest craftsmanship. One day, as he was walking in the gardens of the palace in the cool of the evening, he thought of making a garden for my mother, a garden such as had never been seen before. Only by this could he symbolize his love, for nothing can be greater than its creator, and though a carving may be a song in stone, it is born of the sculptor. But the plants of the earth are the children of the gods. And so, in a curve like the young moon, he planted trees to shade her from the sun at noonday, and bushes with aromatic leaves to spice the air for her refreshment. And for the bowstring of this living bow, there was the lapping water of the lake which stretched its silver to the setting sun, Amenti in the west. Then he mustered a host of grassy spears which closed their ranks to make the smooth green leaves, and he starred them with little flowers, scarlet and yellow, violet, blue and white, which grew to make a carpet for her feet. From lands beyond the boundaries of calm he brought the scarlet lilies of the land of gold, and trumpet vines that grew far to the south, where men walk in their own shadow, and from the north he summoned lemon trees, while oleanders and anemones and flowers that kept their perfume for the moon, to fill the dusk with their drowsy sweetness, and honeysuckle entwined arbiter flowers and the blue convolvulus to make her wreath. When I was 12 years old, my father, for the first time, took her to this garden that he had made for her. It was surrounded by a garden wall, and upon the lintel of the door of cedar wood were carved their names, Sa'atet and Mirinesut, the beloved of Pharaoh's heart. Together they went into the flowering shade where the paths were secret as gazelle tracks through the reeds. When she reached the heart of the green quiet and saw a garden more beautiful than any she had dreamt, she said, here the petals of the flowers were as though the clouds of sunset had been carved in blossoms by the sun god Ra, who upon the earth could never before have found such pleasures for his rays. And both agreed that it must have pleased the gods to see his children here, so glorified. So they named this place Sekhet Ara, the meadow of Ra, and to me also they gave this name, Sekhet Ara. My brother, who had returned to earth 3 years before me, was called Nea. For at his birth the priest of Maat in attendance, seeing those who came to speed him on his ways, had said, hence is one who is worthy to rule over the people of Calm, for the companions of his spirit are long in years. And this child he called Nea, born with wisdom, for his master bore this name when in the old land he listened to the voice that warned him of the coming of the great rain. And just as his master guided his people when the evil ones had disappeared beneath the waters, so shall this child guide the people of Calm when they are assailed by evil ones, who in their turn shall be engulfed by the sea. That was chapter 1, and I finish it here.